Careers in business and technology consulting can be very rewarding, but it can also be very difficult to break into the world of consulting. But how do we get started, and what are some tips to get started in a career in consulting? That's what I want to talk about here today. My name is Eric Kimberling. I'm the CEO of Third Stage Consulting. We're an independent consulting firm that helps clients throughout the world reach their third stage of digital transformation success. And when I started my career 25 years ago as a consultant, I found it a little bit difficult to break into and to get started in that career field. In the time since, I found it to be a very rewarding career path. I love the field of consulting, and I quite frankly can't imagine doing anything differently. I've also posted videos on my YouTube channel about what it takes to be a successful consultant, which you can find that video right here. But what I want to do today is talk about what it takes to get started in the field of consulting. If you don't have a lot of experience, or if you don't have a lot of experience as a consultant in particular, what are the ways that you can sort of transition into the world of consulting? And that's what I want to talk about here today. One of the first things that can help you get started in the field of consulting is to find your niche and really hone in and focus on an area that'll give you a little bit of traction and a starting point in the field of consulting. Consulting is very different and unique in that there's so many different things to learn, and it's a very broad field. It spans everything from business to technology to everything in between, and it can be overwhelming and daunting to figure out where to start. And ultimately, over time, you do want to learn as much as you can and have a big picture view of the different aspects of consulting. But to get started, you really need to have that niche, that area of focus where you can really get started. And that's one of the first things you need to do to be able to break into consulting, is to define what it is you want to specialize in, at least to start. Knowing that once you have that area of specialization, you can choose a number of different paths forward. You might go deep and continue to go deeper into that one area that you've chosen, or you might find that it makes more sense, or you're more interested in expanding your horizons and broadening your skill set. But regardless, you want to start with that area of focus. And just to give you a few examples or options of how you might do that, it's important to think about and ask yourselves questions related to what kind of consulting do I want to do, and what kind of consultant do I want to be. For example, do I want to be a technical configurator, someone that's really hands-on from a technical perspective and doing a lot of implementation related work? If so, then what type of technology might I focus on? Am I going to focus on ERP software, supply chain software, custom development software? What types of technology am I going to focus on? There's also other newer emerging disciplines like data science and artificial intelligence. That's a hot area that you might decide to focus on. You might decide to be a business process analyst and focus more on the business operation side of things. You might focus on organizational change and the human components of change. You might start as a project analyst or a project management assistant, someone that really is more on a program management sort of a track. Those are just a few examples of the type of consulting that you might choose to focus on. And once you've done that, that gives you a foot in the door or a potential entry point to then expand your knowledge and expand your horizons throughout your career. Once you've identified where you want to focus your attention and define what your niche is within the field of consulting, for example, to start, you might define what type of consulting firm you want to work for. Do you want to work for one of the big, large, big four system integrator types of consulting firms? Do you want to work for a small or smaller niche consulting firm, or do you want to work for a consulting firm that's somewhere in between? Having an understanding and a vision for where you want to start, even if that's not the right long-term answer for you, is a great, important first step. Once you've defined the specific category, whether you want to work for, say, a small niche consulting firm or a large big four consulting firm or somewhere in between, you can then start to hone in on what types of firms or what specific firms within that category might you be most interested in working for. This is where you can do research on LinkedIn and start to understand the different options within whatever niche you've identified within your field. For example, if you decide that you want to be, say, an SAP consultant, SAP is an ERP system that's very popular, and it's one of the most common ERP systems in the marketplace. You may decide that SAP is the niche I want to focus on. Now I need to define what kind of SAP consulting firm do I want to go work for. Do I want to work for one of the big guys like Accenture or Deloitte? Do I want to work for one of the smaller but still decent size, mid-size SAP consulting firms? Or maybe there's a smaller option out there that fits me better. And there's pros and cons to both, and there's different disadvantages and strengths to any of those options you might take. But it's important to understand who you are and what it is you're trying to accomplish in your career so that you ultimately end up putting yourself on the best path to success. Now, one emerging category of consulting firm you may want to consider is the independent technology consulting firm. And that category includes companies like mine, which is Third Stage Consulting, and those are companies that are not affiliated with one software vendor, but instead focus on all different types of software solutions and different software categories. So a firm like Third Stage Consulting could be a good option if you're really interested in growing quickly and learning a lot of different things and a lot of different technologies within the space. And if you're interested in learning more about Third Stage Consulting or submitting your bio or your resume for consideration, I encourage you to email me at work@thirdstage-consulting.com. We'd be happy to take a look at your resume and have a chat or a discussion around how you might fit within our organization. The next thing that's important to do once you've identified the niche you want to be in, as well as the type of consulting firm you want to work for, is to really develop and demonstrate your hard skills. What I mean by hard skills are the more technical skills, not necessarily just technology or software or hands-on technology related aspects of hard skills, but really a discipline or a function within consulting that you want to focus on. The hard skills could be technological focus, it could be configuration or customization or development of software, but hard skills could also entail learning more about change management or learning the different nuances of program management, learning about business processes. See that you could be a business process analyst, for example. Those are just a few examples of the hard skills that you might need to learn. And those are very important. I'm also going to talk about the soft skills here in a moment, which is arguably even more important. But you do need to have a demonstration of your ability to bring some hard skills to the table to whatever consulting firm you might want to work for. And even though you don't have the experience yet, or you may not have the experience yet in these hard skill areas, there's ways that you can develop them or at least demonstrate your ability to do those sorts of things based on your past experience. If you have experience, for example, in the world of supply chain management, but now you want to move into consulting, just as an example, you could demonstrate the fact that you understand how supply chains work, and that is a hard skill. The hard skill understanding of business processes within supply chain management. If you don't have experience, let's just say you're in college and you don't have a lot of work experience, first thing I would suggest is get some experience by getting an internship or getting some hands-on real-world experience. But you may also have classes you've taken, courses you've taken that provide some of those hard skills, and you want to really make sure you hone in on and focus on those when you're positioning yourself and selling yourself to potential employers. So that's one of the first things you could do, is make sure that you demonstrate and develop your hard skills so that you are more likely to get the attention of recruiters within consulting firms. The single most important key to success, to be a successful consultant, is to demonstrate the soft skills and to have really strong soft skills. And what I mean by this is not necessarily focusing on the things you know, the tangible black and white knowledge that you have, but in addition, also demonstrate some of the soft skills, your ability to communicate, your ability to listen, your ability to understand, your ability to work as a team, to empathize with people, your patience, all that stuff. Those are very important skill sets that consultants need to have. And anything you could do to demonstrate those soft skills is going to help you break into the field of consulting. And I would argue it's going to help you even more once you get into the field of consulting. It's going to help you advance a lot faster than even the technical skills, the hard skills that I talked about before. So one of the best things you can do if you haven't done consulting before is to really hone in and harness your soft skills. Learn how to present better, learn how to communicate better, learn to ask good questions, learn to listen and understand, and really empathize with people. So anything you could do to demonstrate those types of qualities and characteristics is going to help you not only break into the field of consulting and get started in consulting, but also advance and further your career more quickly than others in the field. One of the tricky parts of consulting that can be challenging, but it's something I actually love about consulting, is the fact that there's a constant tension between specialization and having a broad focus of business and technology. On one hand, you need to have specialization and focus so that you can provide depth and deep understanding in one area, but at the same time, you can't do that in isolation without understanding other aspects of business and technology and organizational behavior. So one of the best things you can do in starting your career is to have that area of focus and preserve that area of focus to get started and to get some traction and momentum in your career, but also at the same time, in parallel, be working to broaden your horizons, provide value and understand how the big picture works and how whatever it is you're working on ties into the overall big picture. And the more you can demonstrate this and develop that, the more likely you are to not only advance further in your career, but it's going to open up a lot of different options. It's going to give you more alternatives and paths that you could go down within your career. So if you decide, for example, that you want to become a program manager someday, if you broaden your skills early in your career, you're going to be more likely to be positioned to be a program manager. If you decide that you start off at a big consulting firm and you want to go to a smaller consulting firm or vice versa, you're going to have more options along those lines to make some pivots in your career if you have a broad experience base that just opens up the world of options to you. So that's one of the biggest things you can do to start your career in consulting, is to have that area of focus, but also work to broaden your horizons and fully understand how the niche that you're focused on ties into other aspects of business and technology. So I hope this has provided you some guidance and direction on how to get started in a consulting career. Now, if you're interested in pursuing a career at Third Stage Consulting, I encourage you to reach out to us. We're a technology agnostic consulting firm. We love to hire young new talent and people that are new to the world of consulting, even if you're mid-career. We love to find an opportunity to work together. So feel free to reach out to us. You can drop us a line and send us your resume at work@thirdstage-consulting.com. We can be a great option for you if you don't want to work for one of the big four consulting firms, or if you don't want to be tied to one technology. We work with all different types of technologies and all different sorts of digital transformations in a number of different industries throughout the world. So we encourage you to reach out to us if you're interested. So I hope this has provided you some direction on how to get started as a consultant, and I hope you have a great day. So that's one of the biggest things you can do to continue, or that bee, I feel like just wants to come back and sting me. It's like waiting on the light now, and I think it's just going to come over. Be an agnostic. God, this is just awkward. I'm never going to finish the video.